About a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us on a rainy Monday evening. Week 1 of the National Football League wraps up, in about 20 minutes or so. Kickoff between the Jets and the San Francisco 49ers for all you fantasy players out there. I'm in this boat as well. A surprise inactive tonight is running back Christian McCaffrey. Everybody thought he was going to play. All signs pointed to him being able to play tonight. Apparently that's not the case. Christian McCaffrey, a surprise inactive. And with it being a Monday night game, some people like me are just completely and totally hung out to dry in fantasy football. Hopefully you're not in that boat. But week 1 wraps up, and boy, week 1, we want to forget about it here in Jacksonville. Yesterday in Miami, Florida, the Jaguars found a way to lose a football game. Now, the benefit I have is I do not only the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube show, the postgame show with Gus and T-Mac, Tom McManus, I also do the fifth quarter. So I had about 2.5 hours of venting that I got to get off my chest yesterday as far as the negative with the Jaguars losing. And I'll have some of that perspective tonight, but sleeping on it last night, waking up feeling refreshed, ready to go, have some more glass half full vibes perhaps of what happened yesterday and what I expect to happen moving forward. So the first hour plus, obviously will be all NFL, all Jacksonville Jaguars. In less than 20 minutes, our guy Dave Campo, every Monday night here on Hacker After Dark now during the year, it's Monday night coaching with Campo. The head coach will join me to recap Miami and to preview the Cleveland Browns who come in here on Sunday. We'll also talk with Brian Sexton of Jaguars.com. So a ton of Jaguar conversation coming up in the next hour plus. As we do every night here on Hacker After Dark, we kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right, so 24-hour rule, yes, but it doesn't hurt any less, at least right now. I said this after the game yesterday. And it still is true today, but I do believe it'll be somewhat easier tomorrow, and by Wednesday, it'll all be okay. Yesterday's loss completely sucks 28 hours after the fact, and it will probably suck into tomorrow. But by the time Wednesday rolls around, you take a deep breath, and you start analyzing things. Here's what I woke up this morning realizing. Christian Kirk, Anton Harrison, and Evan Ingram for lack of getting the ball to him, he only had one catch for 5 yards. But Kirk and Harrison in particular, I don't believe will have worse games than what they did yesterday all year long. I don't believe Christian Kirk will play as poorly at any point left in the year than he did yesterday. I don't believe Anton Harrison will play as poorly as any point of the year as he did yesterday. I think they got it out of their system in week number 1. You had just a gut-punching, gut-wrenching fumble followed completely by an 80-yard Tyreek Hill touchdown. You will not have a bigger swing of emotion. You will not have a bigger swing of momentum in a game all year long than what we saw yesterday in Miami, Florida. You had a mind-numbing 4th and 1 situation that you went for it, which I couldn't believe. Even though it didn't cost you, that was hopefully the worst coaching decision Doug Peterson will make all year long. When you add up everything, you add up all the crap that happened yesterday in Miami, and it was a lot of crap, particularly for the last 18 minutes. And yet, despite all that, the fumble, the 80-yard touchdown by Tyreek Hill, bad games by Christian Kirk, bad games by Anton Harrison, a bad game by Cam Robinson, Evan Ingram getting one catch for 5 yards. He did have 114 catches last year. It might be a thought to throw him the ball. Despite all that, it took a 52-yard field goal to beat you at the buzzer. In Miami, Dolphins at home, considered to be a top 5 or 6 team in the AFC. Home on opening day, everything bad that happened to Jacksonville, and it still took a 52-yard field goal to beat you at the buzzer. Now, maybe I'm looking for silver linings, but that's reality. That's factual. I'm not conjuring that out of thin air. All that bad stuff actually did happen, and yet it still took a very long field goal at the end of regulation to beat you. 0-1 is 0-1. That's reality. The Jaguars were not going to go 17-0, and I got news for you. They're not going to go 16-1 either. The question is, what did we learn yesterday from a positive? I'll tell you something I learned. Trayvon Walker. See, nobody at the end of last year really talked about Walker because the Jaguars had lost 5 out of 6, and everybody talked about the collapse. Yet, despite that, in that collapse, Walker played some of his best football as a Jaguar. It continued yesterday. Trayvon Walker was very good. The veteran free agents, Darnell Savage, Ronald Darby, Eric Armstead, Mitch Morse, all, I thought, were very good. Tank Bigsby. Man, he was a beast yesterday. A ferocious monster. 3rd-round pick Jarian Jones. I like it. I like it a lot. Brian Thomas Jr. talking smack to Jalen Ramsey, beating him for a pass interference, then catching a touchdown from Trevor. Gabe Davis had more receiving yardage yesterday here in Jacksonville than Calvin Ridley did yesterday in his Titans debut. The loss is all that matters. Wins and losses are all that matter. So I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is there were bright spots. There were positive things. And if you eliminate a gut-wrenching fumble, if you eliminate an 80-yard touchdown on literally the next snap, if you can eliminate Christian Kirk drops, if you can eliminate Anton Harrison and Cam Robinson not doing very much in the fourth quarter, quite frankly. There are losses that bother me because they just look putrid. There are losses that bother me because you let one slip through your fingers. Yesterday is more of the latter, but I got to tell you, I'm okay with the loss yesterday. I think it fired the guys up even more. Did you see Doug Peterson's press conference today? A little salty, man. He was very spirited with some of his responses. Hopefully the players feel the same way. Now, Sunday is a gigantic game. It's only week 2. But look at that schedule. It's the only home game in September. You have road games at Buffalo and at Houston following this game on Sunday. I don't know if it's a must-win. I don't know if such a thing exists in the NFL in the month of September. But if there is a quote-unquote must-win game in September, this Cleveland game for Jacksonville is probably pretty close. Already 0-1, staring Monday Night Football on the road at Buffalo, then 6 days later at Houston in the face. Knowing this is your only home game in the entire month of September. It's a game you need to win. No doubt about it, you need to win. I already believe they will win. We'll make the official predictions on Thursday or Friday, but it's Monday night. I'll go ahead and tell you, I think Jacksonville beats Cleveland. I feel very positive about that. And if they beat Cleveland, it doesn't right the wrongs of yesterday in Miami. But I said all along, 2-2 in the first four, and I'm fine. I would take 2-2 and head for the hills all day long. If you beat Cleveland, which I believe they will, then you need to find a way to split at Houston, at Buffalo. And if you split at Houston, at Buffalo, get one of them, then you're 2-2 with games against the Colts, the Patriots, and the Bears. Things have a way of changing very quickly in this league. Just look at yesterday's game. They can change quickly in a game. They can also change quickly in a season. If Jacksonville, and it's going to be hard, because honestly, that was a tough one yesterday for the players, I'm sure. But come home Sunday, Everbank Stadium, take care of business against a Browns team that was awful yesterday, and a Browns team that also has injury concerns. Beat Cleveland. It is a much, much, much different topic of conversation next Monday night. Much different. Now, a couple of things came to light today. Tyson Campbell, hamstring. Doug Peterson said he's going to miss some time. Week to week. That obviously doesn't sound good. It's another hamstring for Tyson Campbell, the same thing that happened last year. That's not good. That's your star corner. That's your young corner. That's the corner you gave millions and millions and millions of dollars to. If he starts getting a history of soft tissue issues, that's going to be a problem. What can you do about that, if anything? Well, you need to do something. But another opportunity for some young guys. I thought Jarian Jones was very good yesterday. I thought the veteran, Ronald Darby, was very good yesterday. Monteric Brown will get an opportunity. Potentially DeAndre Prince will get an opportunity. I believe they probably call Trey Flowers up from the practice squad. That's one you're going to have to figure out. That is a loss. But I love what I saw out of the front. I love what I saw out of the linebackers. You're going to need to compensate for Campbell, but I thought Ryan Nielsen's defense holding the Miami Dolphins to 20 points, that's good, man. I have no complaints with the defense by and large. They had 3 bad plays. 3 bad plays the entire game. Now, stating the obvious, if Travis Etienne does not fumble that football, the Jaguars win. Plain and simple, the Jaguars win if Travis Etienne does not fumble. That is the unfortunate part, and that's something he needs to get out of his head pretty quick. The problem is that happened in 2022. Was it the Denver game or the Houston game? I think it was the Denver game. He's running into the end zone and he fumbles. Got to be better than that if you're Travis Etienne, particularly with the way Tank Bigsby looked yesterday. A lot of negative connotation in this city due to the loss. A lot of people frustrated with Doug Peterson, frustrated with Press Taylor, frustrated with Travis Etienne, and I get it. But there was also a lot of positive things that happened yesterday. Don't lose sight of that. And a win over Cleveland may bring more of those positives to light on Sunday afternoon. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts are always welcome. We'll keep you updated. Monday Night Football, final game of week number 1. Jets and the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers hopefully will play more than 4 plays this season. We'll see him. No Christian McCaffrey tonight for the Niners. Kind of a surprise inactive. We will keep you updated. Coming up next, Monday Night Coaching with Campo. My buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He's our head coach here on Hacker After Dark. Let's review Miami, both negative and positive, and take a look ahead to Cleveland. That's next. Dave Campo, Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Relive the best moments from the weekend's games.
That's what superstars do.
Post-game Monday.
Expert analysis of Sunday's game all day.
Brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff on 1010XL.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, it was interesting watching the Jaguar game yesterday, the first Jaguar game that has counted since last season. I thought to myself, man, this time last season, I was 95 pounds heavier than I am right now. 95 pounds is what I lost in one offseason, thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss, the best weight loss program I've ever been on. The results speak for themselves. If you need to lose weight, whether it's 10, 20, or 30 pounds, or if you have a ton of weight like I had to lose, do yourself a favor. Take it from somebody who has had their life completely changed. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com. That company, that program is absolutely changing lives. I'm a success story. 95 pounds. It's no joke. You could be the next success story. Trust me. Make the call, go to the website. Awaken 180 weight loss.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Cold Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bold City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate, full of choices and all of them good.
Duval. Jaguars football is officially back. Be there for the Jaguars 2024 home opener when they go head-to-head with the Cleveland Browns. Join us as we celebrate Hispanic heritage and take the field at Everbank Stadium for the first time during our 30th season. Lock in your seats now for the 1 p.m. kick by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you back at the bank.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline for MyBookie. Football is back. Winning season is back. MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big, and if it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for a shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus when you're ready to get started. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Remember, exclusive giveaways and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning one.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Julington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Zebra.
Zebra is back by overwhelming demand. Saturday night, September 14th, live at the Florida Theater in Jacksonville, performing songs from all 5 Zebra albums. Get tickets now before they're gone at floridatheater.com. Zebra with all original members. Saturday night, September 14th. Tickets on sale now. Don't miss.
Zebra.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC, Zero Res.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 2854-LAW. 2854-LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
1010XL is presented by Barra & Barra, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Browns, Sunday at 1 o'clock, home opener at Everbank Stadium. I think a lot of people just want to turn the page to get to Cleveland. We'll preview Cleveland, but we got to look back at yesterday and what on earth happened in the last 18 minutes of that game down in Miami. On Monday nights during the regular season, we always have Monday night coaching with Campo. My buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You hear him on XL Primetime. You get him after the games on the fifth quarter, and he's always kind enough to join us here on Monday evenings. Coach, how you doing?
Well, I'm okay. The 24-hour rule, but unfortunately, I watched the game again, so it went beyond 24 hours. So I'm disappointed. Obviously, there's some things that we did that let them back in the football game, and it's just really a shame because that's one we let go.
I love the fifth quarter with you and myself and Leon Searcy because the reaction is so raw, it's so genuine, it's right after the game. But we don't really have a chance to rewatch the game. We watch it live, and then we come on and we do a show, and it's great. But what I love about our Monday night sessions is that you get a chance to watch the All-22, you being a former coach with the coach's eye. So I'll ask you maybe the simplest question I've asked you in the last couple of years. What happened in the last 18 minutes?
Well, first of all, obviously they found something out on one of the earlier drives when they hit that deep cross to Waddle. And we stopped them on that drive. But we were in a cover two, too deep. The corners, the only thing I don't like about this modern day corner play in cover two, when they show press, and they show the safeties in halves before the snap, you kind of know what's going on. It's not going to be a three deep. It's going to be a two deep. And the corners from press don't get a real reroute on the receiver. So the receiver that got loose on the cross, the safety drove it. Unfortunately, should have been back in the half. And the corner couldn't get deep enough to get underneath the cross from the other side, and he ran right by the safety. Well, The reason that play is important is after we fumbled the football on that drive, which should have put the game away, in my opinion, the next play, that 80-yard drive, they went right back. You got to give them credit. They went right back to the same play, going in the opposite direction, with Hill being the deep post. And we dropped down into a 3 deep, and they hit it, and they outran Cisco, who should have made the tackle, in my opinion. So you have a great drive. We fumble the football going in, which when you look at it in the replay, Etienne tried to get his opposite hand on the football. He was a little too late. He thought he was going to get in there. He held one hand on the ball too long. The guy made a great strip of the ball. He almost got his other hand on it before it went, and then he kicked it into the end zone. So that started it. And then the very next play, they hit the long one for the touchdown. And the very next drive, we have an opportunity on a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1. And first of all, Harrison had a rough day. He had a poor pass drop on the play before. They run the ball down and get a 3rd down and 1 and a 4th down and run. He gets a holding call, and then he ends up whiffing on the 3rd down play, and then the 4th down play, 4th and 1, and I don't know why in heaven we went for it there, but we had a chance to make the 4th down play, and Cam Robinson whiffed on the block. If he gets even a tie-up on the ends block, we get the 1st down there on the play. So really, about 4 minutes cost us the football game.
Yeah, it was not a good day for the offensive tackles, Cam Robinson and Anton Harrison. In fact, it might have been Harrison's worst game, and I don't say that lightly. I think he's a good player, and he'll respond, but it was a bad day yesterday for Anton Harrison. We're here with Dave Campo, Monday Night Coaching with Campo on Hacker After Dark. Coach, something you and I talked about last night on the 5th quarter. You've now rewatched the game. Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis had a huge part in the offense in the first half. Very little in the second half. What happened?
Well, some of it is the way the game went in the second half. Remember, they went 3 and out, and then another 3 and out later on. And, sometimes if you don't have enough plays, that's why that, in my opinion, that's why that play was so critical on the 3rd and 1 and the 4th and 1, even though they missed a field goal on that one, which is a great situation, sudden change for our defense. If they make that 1st down, they have a minimum of 3 more plays to get the ball to their playmakers. But they probably, the way they were moving the football, the drive before that one is the one they went to the length of the field and the fumble. So they would have had more opportunities to get the ball to those guys in the second half if we'd have made that 3rd or 4th down play. So, and time would have come off the clock, which would have been a factor as well. So it was a critical situation. I do have to mention one thing. I thought our wide receivers really did a good job. Even Kirk, even though he dropped a big one, the play down the middle was a really critical throw on the drive. So really, Thomas and Gabe Davis had a good ball game.
Coach, what do you say to Travis Etienne?
I'll tell you, that's just focus, in my opinion. It happened to him 2 years ago in the red zone. I thought he cleaned that up. In the red zone, when you carry a ball, even if you break into the secondary, remember that the secondary is not very deep. And so somebody's going to get to you relatively quickly, even though it looks like you might have a clear path to the end zone. And down there, you got to have 2 hands on the football when you get anywhere near the secondary guys, because they're going for that football. And you have to give Miami credit, but at the same time, I thought that was a really, obviously, a critical situation. He's got to learn from that again for the second time. The other thing that it looks to me, and I may get a lot of flack for this one, but I think Bigsby has better eyes than ETN running the football. I really think that if you looked at those guys, and let's say Bigsby was the featured runner, okay? ETN is a great third down back. He can go to the perimeter. He can catch the ball out of the backfield really well. He's got great acceleration. But when he's in the middle of stuff, he doesn't have the same eyes as Bigsby does. Bigsby has a way of finding the open area, and I think he should get more carries, to be perfectly honest with you.
The head coach, Dave Campo, here with us on Hacker After Dark. Bigsby was great yesterday, no question about it. One of the offensive stars of the game. You know, I made this point this morning on social media after a good night's sleep, and we had a good venting session last night on the fifth quarter. Evan Ingram will not have another game this year where he has one catch for 5 yards. Christian Kirk had 2 awful drops. Harrison played maybe his worst game as a professional. Cam Robinson, I highly doubt, will have a worse game than he had. ETN with a devastating fumble. You allow an 80-yard touchdown. You don't get it on 4th and 1 from your own 30. And despite all the bad, awful crap that happened to this team, it still took a 53-yarder to beat you at the end of regulation. Am I just looking for a silver lining there, Coach, or is there something to that?
Oh, no. There's definitely a silver lining. I think I said it on the fifth quarter last night. Look, first of all, the defensive team, until the end of the ball game, the last couple drives, and both of them, they forced field goals, including the winning field goal. But they ran out of gas a little bit. I thought, first of all, Nielsen did a tremendous job going into that first ball game. They changed up a lot of stuff. They showed too deep, dropped down into man-to-man. They had double coverages on both receivers at times with a man principle, brackets. They up front, I thought we handled their offensive line basically the whole game until those last couple drives where they got some runs on us because the defense was on the field for a long time. That in itself, if you'd have told me that it was going to be 17-17 going into the last few minutes of the ball game, I'd have taken that. So you have to look at it and say that was a plus. And then offensively, we had 2 drives starting from inside the 10-yard line on going into the goal line. Mm-hmm. So, when you look at this team, I'm completely convinced that we're a better football team than we were a year ago. However, you can't make mistakes in this league. It comes down, as we saw, to 2, 3, 4 plays in a game that make the difference in the football game because the teams are so evenly matched.
I want to look ahead to Cleveland. Final thought about yesterday. Trevor Lawrence in the postgame said he has to make plays in the 4-minute drill there. It's 17-17. The Jaguars got the ball with 4:22 on their own 30. A field goal wins it. They go backwards 20 yards, go 3 and out, a couple of sacks, and Miami got the ball, and we know what happened. Was there any plays to be made, or did the offensive line just get manhandled on that final offensive drive?
Well, the biggest plays they made during the game, Hack, were play-action passes. And when you get into the situation, those last couple, we had some whiffs up front, and that's something that we've talked about. I really, I would have continued to try to run the football and try to play action it again to try to get protection. But we got 2 sacks down the stretch that, unfortunately, he didn't have much choice on those. So, again, it looked like to me that we ran out of gas a little bit with our up front guys at the end of the football game. And that can't happen, obviously.
Final moments with the head coach, Dave Campo. All right, home opener this Sunday. They've watched the film. We're past the 24-hour mark. You got to flush Miami and look ahead to Cleveland. It's a Cleveland team that has a lot of questions in their own right. They were absolutely crushed at home yesterday by Dallas, and there's people up in Cleveland that are not happy with Deshaun Watson and, dare I say, maybe wanting to see Jameis Winston. I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see how the week goes on. But what's your early thought on the Browns coming in here on Sunday?
Well, first of all, I'm concerned about the Browns more so because of the physicality and especially on their defense. They've got, outstanding pass rushers. They're very physical on defense. Their defense really didn't lose that game yesterday. They shut them out in the second half. I think the Cowboys only got 2 first downs in the second half. So, the defense is going to be a challenge, especially with our up front guys. And so that concerns me a little bit. I know everybody's up and on with Deshaun Watson. They're going to be very, very upset coming in here because the one thing you saw in that game in the first half, really the whole game for Cleveland, the Cowboys pass rush, they were extremely aggressive and they put a ton of pressure. He got hit 17 times in the game. If we can hit him 17 times in the game, we're going to win the football game. I'm not sure that we're quite that aggressive in our pass rushes. And that's going to be the thing that makes the difference, in my opinion. We're going to have to pressure Watson because he is dangerous, running the football especially. So, it's going to be another tough ball game. We should feel like that we can handle them, though, at home because you have to win at home.
Both teams have injuries coming in. It appears David Njoku, the tight end for Cleveland, the Pro Bowl tight end, did something to his ankle yesterday. Does not look good, at least for Sunday against Jacksonville. And for the Jags coach, Tyson Campbell with a hamstring. We'll learn more as the week goes on. But, knowing what we know about hamstrings, I can't imagine he would go on Sunday. And it kind of looked like that with his body language yesterday coming off the field. If that's the case, you're the defensive guy. What would you do if it were you? You got Ronald Darby, you got Jarian Jones, you got Monteric Brown. Do you call up a Trey Flowers or a Christian Braswell? How do you try to offset the loss of Campbell if he doesn't go?
Well, first of all, I think we're fine at nickel. There were times that they actually had Antonio Johnson going with Savage at nickel. So my feeling would be, first of all, Jarian Jones, I'm pleased with him, with what he did in the game. He ran with Hill a number of times in that ball game. And that's the one thing that I'll tell you, I have to give Nielsen a lot of credit because he played everybody. I'm telling you, Cole even made some plays in that game. So I think we're okay. My feeling, I would bring Flowers back because Flowers gives you experience over there. I think Monteric Brown, they're going to attack Monteric Brown in this game. I'm convinced if he's the guy, that's okay because I think Monteric is okay. But I would make sure I had a little bit more experience at corner. Braswell really played nickel for the majority of the training camp. So my feeling would be that you bring in back Flowers.
Yeah, you had Trey Flowers on the practice squad. Of course, he was with Ryan Nielsen in Atlanta last year, knows the scheme really well. We'll see if that's ultimately what they choose to do. Coach, final question. We got 60 seconds. You got a team that feels like they let one get away in Jacksonville against a team that was, quite frankly, dominated in Cleveland. Who is the more desperate team on Sunday at 1 o'clock?
Well, I think both teams are desperate because, and you say, okay, it's the only 2 games, but 0-2 is not a good-looking situation for us because then now we've got to, play a couple of ball games right afterwards that are pretty good. What is it, Buffalo and
Houston, at Buffalo, at Houston, yeah.
Yeah, and both of them on the road. So I'm going to say that we need to win this football game. I think we should feel decent with our team, with the way the game unfolded, because there were a lot of people that felt that that Miami should have been 30 points, with their offense. But again, I think we're the team that has to win that game.
You get the head coach Dave Campo every week here. Monday Night Coaching with Campo on Hacker After Dark. And, of course, you'll get Coach on Sunday with myself and Leon Searcy on the fifth quarter, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Browns go final. Coach, have a terrific week. I will see you Sunday evening for the fifth quarter, my friend.
You got it. Have a great week, and we'll talk.
A game where every yard counts. One player's performance stands out.
That's what you want from a leader.
Universal Roofing Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game.
Touchdown, what a throw.
On 1010XL.
Mueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson. Welcome to the show, Steve.
It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions. Repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity. Making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time homebuyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time homebuyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at TrustlineMortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Well, all the news forecasts say that home prices are expected to decline in 2025. Hey, that's great if you're buying a home. But if you're selling one, you might want to get to it. And when it comes to selling your home, the agents you should trust are Chad and Sandy Newman at chadandsandy.com. Maybe you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not sure how. And you don't want to worry about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Those things are all out with Chad and Sandy. They're the local real estate experts you can trust, and I recommend for the sale of your home, or for the sale of mine for that matter, maybe I should look into it. Hey, don't trust me. Trust Jacqueline from Biscayne Estates. My inherited home became a nightmare when it went unsold for 177 days and ended up with a large lien. With expenses mounting for my handicapped daughter and no way to pay, I was desperate. At this point, I turned to Chad and Sandy. The change was amazing. Chad and Sandy sold my home in 3 days at a higher than asking price. Find out for yourself at chadandsandy.com or 904-414-6200.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
It's soccer around the world, and here at home on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour on 1010XL. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk.
Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 AM.
Don't bet the National Football League this season without your VSiN NFL betting guide. Betting previews for all 32 teams, betting trends, VSiN's exclusive in-depth win total projections, and a guide on how to use betting splits to bet and win. Download your free copy of the guide right now, featuring a betting preview of your Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Week 1 of the National Football League wrapping up tonight. Monday Night Football, Jets and the 49ers. San Francisco got a field goal. The Jets have responded with a touchdown. Breece Hall from 2 yards out. Jets 7, 49ers 3. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Christian McCaffrey inactive tonight for the 49ers. So we'll keep you updated, but Jets 7-3 over San Francisco late in the first quarter. Although San Francisco is driving, they have the ball right around midfield. In the National Football League yesterday, some surprises, right? Week 1's like that, but I did not expect a couple of these, and really the main one, New England, I thought was maybe going to be the worst team in football. I think that distinction now goes to the Carolina Panthers, because Carolina is horrific. But New England goes into Cincinnati and knocks off Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Who saw that coming? I would imagine those of you that do losers pools, or survivor pools, I guess, might have taken one on the chops in week number 1. I imagine Cincinnati was a trendy pick at home against New England. Not so fast. Patriots go in there and get it done. Pittsburgh 18-10 over Atlanta. 6. That's 6 Chris Boswell field goals. Buffalo survives Arizona. Maybe Arizona's going to be better than we thought. Kyler Murray played his tail off. In the end, Buffalo had just enough. And it's interesting, Buffalo-Miami Thursday night. What a Thursday night game. Miami couldn't celebrate the win over Jacksonville too much. They're on the field in 72 hours, taking on their hated division rival in the Buffalo Bills. In the AFC South yesterday, Houston and Indy, a great game. Anthony Richardson looked very good. In the end, Houston a little too much, 29-27. Although the Colts were right there with them. Right there. And then the Jaguars should feel pretty bad about the way they lost yesterday. Although I'm not sure if they should feel worse than the Tennessee Titans. Did you guys see this? Titans were up 17-0 on Chicago. Gave up a blocked punt for a touchdown. Will Levis also threw a pick 6. And Chicago scores 24 unanswered in the second half to win the game 24-17. It was so bad that Brian Callahan, the Titans head coach, earlier today said, and he said it in jest, but he's right, if we would have just punted on first down, we probably would have won the game. Again, a blocked punt return for touchdown, a pick 6 return for touchdown, and Tennessee loses to Chicago 24-17. By the way, Titans media, Titan fans that were hitting me up after Calvin Ridley was stolen from Jacksonville and went to Tennessee for, quote, greener pastures elsewhere. Yeah. Will Levis looked awful yesterday. And by the way, Gabe Davis, 62 yards receiving. Calvin Ridley, 50 yards receiving. Both had 3 catches. We'll keep you updated on Gabe Davis versus Calvin Ridley. And really, it's Brian Thomas versus Calvin Ridley. The Jaguars would not have drafted 21-year-old Brian Thomas had 29-year-old Calvin Ridley re-signed here. What I saw yesterday, I'm perfectly content with Ridley being in Nashville and what the Jaguars got with Brian Thomas Jr. I mentioned Carolina, they're awful. 47-10, they lose to New Orleans. The New York Giants are also just hot mess. They're horrific as well. Sam Darnold And Minnesota just absolutely go into the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, New Jersey. I guess it's now MetLife Stadium. And just throttle the New York Football Giants. Pretty good fight in the Chargers-Raiders game. The fight was certainly better than the on-the-field product. Chargers 22, Raiders 10. Seattle 26-20 over Denver. Jacksonville sees Cleveland next week. Cleveland falls to Dallas 33-17 and got some injuries in the process, including David Njoku, the Pro Bowl tight end with what's being described as an ankle. Rumor is a high ankle, very unlikely he plays here on Sunday against the Jaguars. And last night, maybe the game of the day, certainly one of them, Detroit over the Rams in overtime, 26-20. As far as the injury front, we mentioned David Njoku for Cleveland. Boy, a bad one for Carolina. Bad goes to worse. Derek Brown, the big defensive tackle. Looks like he may be out for the year with a meniscus. Rome Odunze, week to week in Chicago with an MCL sprain, the top 10 pick. Not good for the Bears. Puka Nacua, one of the stars last year for the Rams, re-aggravated a knee injury. He's going to be put on the short-term IR. He's going to be out a minimum of 4 weeks. So injuries accumulating. Of course, the big injury for the Jaguars, cornerback Tyson Campbell with a hamstring. Head coach Doug Peterson earlier today said that Campbell will miss some time, but did not give a timetable for his return. Again, Week 1, National Football League wrapping up tonight. Jets on top of San Francisco 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. More on the Jaguars, more recapping Miami, but starting to look more ahead to Cleveland. Coming up on Sunday, the home opener at Everbank Stadium. My buddy Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com, joins me next. Monday night, Jacksonville, Florida, and we're glad you're with us right here on Hacker After Dark.
Even the best teams can lose steam when their best players end up on the sidelines.
In case you haven't noticed, our receiver corps is decimated.
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update.
Jacksonville. It's part of the game, though, you know?
On 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
It's the best time of the year again. It's football season, and with football season here, fantasy football has arrived. And forget the season-long leagues. Underdog Fantasy and the Underdog Fantasy app is the way to go. I've been playing it now for almost a year, and it is just suits me to a T. First of all, it's simple, right? Just choose higher or lower on statistical projections, or compete against others in player v player fantasy games. Either way, there's so many options. There's research there on the site. It's easy to use, and right now, you can get a little bit extra. That's right. Go to the mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code PROSSER. They're going to give you a special to use on your first contest and a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PROSSER, and claim your new customer offer. Do it right now, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Got to be 18 or over, got to be present in the state where it's played, and call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org if you have a problem.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision and equal opportunity employer.
Jags fans, our holiday pack is back with a special edition.
Trevor Lawrence touchdown!
For the first time, get a limited edition Trevor Lawrence bobblehead plus a ticket to one of our December home games starting at $78. Whether you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift or want the one-of-a-kind bobblehead for yourself, grab a holiday pack today by going to jaguars.com/bobblehead or call 904-633-2000 now.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. So another Mike, who lost 40 pounds with Awaken 180, was in the same position I was in. And you are most likely confused.
I spent so much money on personal trainers in the last 10 years. Didn't have a lot of discretionary income left. So I tried to listen to everybody else. What do you eat? Everyone said, eat healthy. Define eating healthy. Cut out sugar. Tell me what foods don't have sugar. So their process to me was an education. That was really the eye-opening thing to me is I had 10 choices of food in front of me every day. When I was on the run in sales, I was making 8 bad choices. I wasn't eating the 2 good ones. And I loved the 2 good ones. I just didn't know they were good. So I made bad choices every single day. And the program, Awaken 180, really changed my mind, opened my eyes up to, it was a true education on food, what to eat, what not to eat. And it's been fantastic.
Knowing what to eat and the ability to navigate nutritional labels. A proven, clear path for weight loss. Exactly what you will receive with Awaken 180. Leave confusion at the door and do what we did. Awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Browns, Sunday at 1 o'clock, the home opener at Everbank Stadium. Certainly an important game for the Jaguars after what happened in Miami on Sunday. Do not want to start the year 0-2. Let's recap Miami. Let's preview Cleveland with my buddy Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. Always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Brian, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Brian, we're good, buddy. Thank you for the time. And, boy, all right. The first 42 minutes in Miami were nothing short of sensational. The last 18 were a nightmare, and the last 18 cost the Jaguars a game on opening day. What were your biggest takeaways from the loss to the Dolphins?
Well, listen, I'm not sure I've ever seen in Jaguars history, and I've seen every game, a game change so suddenly, so explosively like it did. Here's my overriding thought. This was not a resilient team when things went bad last year. You and I have had this conversation, whether it's the Chiefs or the Niners or the Ravens, Bengals, Titans, those big games that the Jaguars needed to win, and they didn't. And it felt like that yesterday, that this is a team, despite the fact that they've added some veteran presence. They've added a new coaching staff, and I was really impressed with what I saw from that defense yesterday. They're still not resilient, and they have got to figure out a way. And Trevor said this in the postgame, Ryan. They got to figure out a way to win those close ball games, not let the fumble become the touchdown, become the next fumble by Parker Washington that luckily he got back, not have it just spiral out of control. And the only word I can use that seems to make sense to me is resilient. You've got to be resilient because, listen, most NFL games are decided by 8 points or less in the fourth quarter. It's going to come down to that nearly every Sunday. You got to figure out a way to get over the finish line.
You do, and it's something the Jaguars have struggled with, to your point. And there's a lot we can dissect from the game yesterday, but what the fans are asking me about, and I'm sure asking you about, Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis, a big impact in the first half, almost silent in the second half. I mean, from your vantage point, what happened there?
Well, I think they went away from it because their game plan on a hot day was to run the ball. And look, they were running the ball really effectively. They tried to shorten the game. They had a 10-point lead, shorten the game, give yourself a chance to drive down the field. And I understood why they did that. But they weren't as good running the ball. And then things spiraled out of control for them. They had that 94-yard drive. And if you recall on the drive, it started with a 26-yard run, and there was an 8-yard run, and then there was 6 or 7 yards on the run before Travis was caught from behind and had the ball punched out. The running game was working yesterday, and the strategy was, I can only surmise, haven't heard from the head coach yet, but can only surmise was to keep pounding at a soft defense in Miami and take what they wanted from the ground game. Why they went away from it, I can understand why. I'm sure, listen, 2020 is hindsight, isn't it?
It is. Look, Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com, and, you mentioned Travis Etienne. Boy, I felt for him yesterday. Good football player, but man alive. I mean, what an altering play in that game, and then the Tyreek Hill, literally moments after. I thought CBS really captured the moment, unfortunately focusing right in on Travis as Tyreek Hill scored that touchdown. What do you, in your experience, what do you think, Doug Peterson, what do you think his teammates have said to Travis Etienne today?
Well, I don't think you have to say much. I mean, this is a guy, when he lost that ball, he knew what it meant. He understood that they had a chance to go up 24-7, and that had gotten away because he didn't secure the ball. And Fred Taylor said it on our post-game show yesterday, as well as anybody could. Look, when you get into that compacted area, in the plus 20, in the red zone, someone's coming for you. You haven't outrun someone. You're not so far away that someone isn't going to hit you. And you got to cover up. You got to cradle the ball. You got to have football situational awareness to understand you need points here. And yes, you may see the green of the end zone, but man, this isn't Clemson. There is somebody coming for the ball. And of course, the safety did, and he made an incredible play. It was a great play. But Travis should have covered up. Look, and I'm saying it, you're saying it, everyone who's listening has seen it and is saying it. He knows it too.
The running game as a whole, Tank Bigsby, probably his best game as a Jaguar, which makes it, unfortunate because we're not talking about the positives. I want to focus on the positives with you in a moment. But what do you think the dynamic there is? Are we going to see maybe a little bit more Tank? Not to take, reps away from Travis necessarily, but I think, the fans at least today are telling me, man alive, Bigsby looked phenomenal out there. Can we see a little bit more of him?
Are these the same people that wanted him off the field last year?
Agreed. It changes very quickly. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I mean, that's the suddenness. Look, Travis Etienne is a 1,000-yard back 2 consecutive seasons, and last year had 11 touchdowns. You're going to find ways to get the ball in his hands. I think they're going to rotate the two. And why not? I mean, they're completely different style runners. This is a guy, Bigsby, who can make a man miss and then with power run between the tackles. And as we saw in the 26-yard run, he can bounce to the outside too. It's a nice change of pace. And in the NFL, you need two runners because those guys get beat up. I think that having both is going to create more opportunities in game planning to find situations to put them on the field. That's not a problem. And I get it. ETN fumbled. It was a calamitous play. But he's a guy who can come back and make those kinds of plays. The big touchdown runs, we've all seen it from him, whether it's in Houston or Pittsburgh last year. He's a guy you're going to want to have the ball in his hands. So you've got to do everything you can to rebuild his confidence.
From a fan perception standpoint, I guess the two guys that have benefited from the ETN fumble are Christian Kirk and Anton Harrison, because both of those guys struggled mightily yesterday. Kirk, definitely one clear drop on third down. You could argue he had a second drop later in the game. And I don't know what was with Anton Harrison yesterday, Brian. I'm a big fan of his, but man alive, it was not a good day at the office for 77.
Listen, if you had asked me who was going to have a great season, and he still might, I would have told you Anton. He had a terrific camp once he got back out onto the field. And if you talk to people in the locker room, and I know that you do, they all point to him and say, he's probably this team's best offensive lineman. But for whatever reason, he struggled mightily yesterday on the first play of the game, giving up the 13-yard sack, and then Jalen Phillips just running him around in the final moments, in that final drive where the Jaguars, they were tied at their 30-yard line, 1st and 10, right? What do you need, 35, 40 yards to kick a game-winning field goal of your own and chew up the clock? And he gives up 2 sacks. It was bad. And now, listen, you say that. Every player who's ever played this game, every single one, even Tom Brady, has had a really bad day at the office. I expect Anton Harrison to climb back up on it. He's got a huge challenge this week with that Grim Reaper fella coming in. Myles Garrett is as good as they come, and he's going to have to rise to the challenge. I think he can, and my guess is he will.
Couple more for Brian Sexton of Jaguars.com. Putting glass half full approach on this. Here was my thought this morning when I woke up. All right, Evan Ingram had 1 catch for 5 yards. I'm not sure Christian Kirk and Anton Harrison are going to play worse games the rest of the year than they did yesterday. You had a crippling fumble, just a gut punch fumble, literally followed by an 80-yard touchdown. You go for it on 4th and 1 in your own territory and don't get it. I mean, you had all this stuff happen to you, and yet it still took a 53-yarder to beat you. Am I just looking for a silver lining there, Brian, or do you think there's something to that?
No, I think we'd be talking about a lot of the things that went well. If Travis crosses the goal line, it's 24/7. I heard you and Leon and Coach Campo last night talking about Jaguars win that ball game, right? The Dolphins may have come back with some, high-flying heroics from their passing game, and you may have said it was an ugly game because the numbers didn't. But we'd be pointing out the things that they did well. I thought the defense played lights out until that final drive where they couldn't hold off the Dolphins any longer. Were they perfect? No. But did you see a unit that was much better than it was last year? Absolutely. The running game. Look, the offensive line until the end there, they created space to run it. They'd only given up 1 sack. They were providing Trevor time to throw the ball. I think the offensive line was improved again until the 4-minute mark where they gave up those 2 sacks. Bigsby was improved. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. he accounted for both touchdowns, right? I mean, he got the pass interference call on Jalen Ramsey and set up that, besides making a dramatic catch at the back. There's a lot of good stuff that we saw yesterday. But we can't get past the fact that what we saw at the end felt like what we saw at the end last year. And you can be sure that Doug Peterson and his coaching staff are going to be saying the exact same thing. Guys, we're not the same team as last year. We shouldn't see some of the same things. We got to fix this.
There's no doubt about that. We're going to get to Cleveland in one moment. Quickly to Tyson Campbell. We haven't got an official word yet, but let's be honest. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. He had a hamstring last year. He misses a couple of weeks. Maybe they rushed him back. He wasn't the same guy. He leaves yesterday with a hamstring, did not return. Again, not that I'm a medically trained professional, but I would be stunned if we saw him on Sunday against Cleveland. I guess we'll see as the week goes on. If they lose Campbell for any period of time, what does that do to this defense?
Well, look, you don't have to be an injury expert. You don't have to be a medical professional. hamstrings take time. And if you bring him back because you feel like you need him desperately, you're liable to cost him maybe the season. And Fred talked about this on our post-game show. And Taylor, obviously, in 1999, missed 6 games with that hamstring. Behind him back then, you had James Stewart. And you don't have another corner that you can go, oh, well, all right, let's go. This is a former first-round pick. But you do have some young guys that you've drafted in Monteric Brown. They like Trey Prince. I'm not sure he's ready for it yet. But who's ever really ready? They might have to throw him out there. Maybe you go bring a Trey Flowers up from your practice squad. You got guys that you like. You got guys that you are grooming, like Christian Braswell, who's on the practice squad. Maybe now is their time. You're going to have to figure it out. Injuries happen to every team at every position. The Browns are going to come in here probably without David Njoku, who apparently has a high ankle sprain from their loss to the Cowboys on Sunday. Everybody deals with it. I'm going to say Monteric Brown and Trey Prince are going to be the first 2 up.
Final moments, Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. Cleveland comes in on Sunday. Now, the Jaguars last year, Brian, did not play well at home. I mean, it was baffling how, quite frankly, bad they played in games at home last year. Well, they got to win these games at the bank, right? I mean, especially you're staring 0-2 in the face if you don't win on Sunday, going to Buffalo and to Houston. I'm not sure if there's a must-win September NFL game, but this might be pretty close to it with this game against Cleveland here in Jacksonville, the only home game in the month of September.
Well, we'd have to wait to see how the season plays out to say that it is or was a must-win, but it sure feels like that. And in this game, perception becomes reality. It's all anyone's going to talk about all week long. And I think that the players would tell you that they are going to feel that sense of urgency to come out here and play well and get a win and right the ship. You and I have talked about this, and I'm sure you and your listeners have talked about this as well. You come out of the month of September where you have 3 road games, 2-2, right? If you can get to 2-2, man, it sets you up very well in the month of October, where you've got the Colts at home on Alumni Weekend and Coughlin going into the Ring of Honor and 2 games in London, and then the Packers coming down here. You can make some hay, but you got to come out of this month 2-2 at the very worst, which means you got to put yourself in a situation to win the one home game that you've got in the month of September. This is a talented team, and I know people who are listening understand that. They're not necessarily feeling it based on the way that things ended yesterday, but that doesn't mean that they can't come out here on Sunday and put a 60-minute game together. This is still the team that we were all enthused about coming out of the preseason. They got off to a rocky start. They had a chance to put that one away, and they didn't, and they've got to find a way to be resilient. It's a to-do list, right? But they can get it done.
Brian, final question. It's an interesting dynamic. Cleveland was embarrassed yesterday. Jacksonville lost a heartbreaker yesterday. Who do you think will be the more desperate team?
Wow, that's a great question. The Jaguars are, because they're playing at home, I think they're going to feel that sense more necessarily than the Browns. The Browns were a playoff team a year ago. The Browns had high expectations. My sense is that this Jacksonville team, which has now lost, 6 of their last 7 regular season games?
Yeah.
They're even though it's not entirely the same team, the core of it is. And they're going to feel that sense of desperation. I'm not sure that's a good thing. I'm not sure that you want a team to feel desperate in week 2. What you would like them to do, and what 30 years of covering this team tells me, is to come in, trust the preparation, right? To go back to the process. And the process is such a coaching word, but it's true. You do the same things every single week. The film study, the meetings, the practice, the stretching, the weights, you do it better, right? You apply yourself so that the outcome is better on Sunday. Panic really can't come into the equation. It can't, because that throws off your rhythm and your routine. What you really need is for them to dial in the focus even more. And I'll leave you with this. I do an interview with an assistant coach after practice on Wednesday. And so Ryan Nielsen and I were standing off to the side after Wednesday's practice. And I said, hey, look, you've done this a long time. Opening day, it's fun. There's a lot of pageantry to it. Does it mean anything to you? And he said, no. He said it's just one of 17. And we have 17 of these. And each one of them is important. I'm not going to place any more importance on one game, I'm paraphrasing here, than I am the other 16 after this. It's just the next one. That's the mindset this team needs this week.
Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. Brian, I know you're busy. Thank you as always for the time. I'll see you down in the locker room on Wednesday.
Always happy to help, Ryan. Have a great day.
Sometimes winning and losing comes down to one play. There's only one performance-painting, high-performance play of the game on 1010XL.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here. Look, most goals we set for ourselves have a pretty clear course. I want a trip to Las Vegas. So you read a couple of reviews, talk to a few friends, save up some money, and you book it. Maybe a couple of choices along the way, but overall, it's a clear course to reach your goal. Now, if your goal is to lose 40 or 50 pounds, where's the clear path? You read reviews, talk with a few friends, and try something out. When it doesn't work, you're disappointed. Look, we've all been there, and it stinks. Know what I say? Stop trying to do what I did and start doing. Reach your goal with Awaken 180. It's a clear course to success without the disappointment. No guesswork, no trial and error, and no medication side effects. I'm proof. I dropped 26 pounds my first go at it, and it was simple. A word never associated with weight loss, except when referring to Awaken 180. Choose the simple, clear course to success with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
A customer called DuckDuckRooter saying they had some nasty stuff backing up inside their home. So we went with our camera to look inside their plumbing lines. And sure enough, tree roots in the sewer line. Need to see what's blocking your lines? Call our team to locate the issue and provide solutions to resolve it. 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. DuckDuckRooter, your fully insured and certified plumbing contractor, residential and commercial.
Hey, Hicken here. I want to talk skin along with my friends at Peaches Dermatology, reminding you to wear your sunscreen. Football season is back, baby. And with that, days under that bright sun. So when you load up that truck for the game day tailgate, or the chairs for your kids' flag games, or even the boat heading downtown to watch our Jags, make sure you bring the screen. Sunscreen, that is. It's a must here in Duval. But if you have any concerns right now, give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Big Sirs here. Join me, Hacker, and Coach Campbell Sunday for the Win the World of Northeast Florida's fifth quarter live from Island Girl Cigar Gate Parkway. Enjoy all-day happy hour and my cigars. It's the fifth quarter Sunday, live at Island Girl Cigars Gate Parkway.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, takes the field this season at 1-1 Financial Ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Tickets start at just $5, fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids run the bases after every Sunday game. JackShrimp.com, Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family fun.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
It's poker with a purpose. The Hold'em for Life Texas Hold'em Tournament at Blessed Trinity Parish Hall benefits the Women's Help Center with a focus on expectant mothers and newborns. If you'd like to play or sponsor, call 904-868-8873.
Help make Jacksonville safer and play a round of golf at the First Coast Crime Stoppers Golf Tournament, October 21st at Amelia River Club.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
Having a mentor can positively change a young life right here in Jacksonville. It only takes 4 to 7 hours a month to be a big brother or big sister and change a life forever. Become a big today at bbsnefl.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Regular movement is key to so many health benefits. Aim for at least 10,000 steps a day. Decide to only take the stairs if you're walking less than 6th floor. Never park in the first 10 spaces of the parking lot. Walk during your work breaks. Get up 10 minutes earlier in the morning and take a short, brisk walk before the chaos of the day starts. There are so many easy ways to stay active. Let's get moving, Jacksonville.
Come to Lifetime Flooring this Thursday from noon to 2 to see the XL Primetime Show live. Get your name in the bucket for a chance to win tickets to Nathaniel Ratliff at Daly's Place September 16th. This Thursday from noon to 2 at Lifetime Flooring on Phillips Highway.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. A Deebo Samuel touchdown for the 49ers. They lead the New York Jets 13-7, 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. No Christian McCaffrey for the 49ers tonight. Breece Hall has scored a touchdown for New York. But again, Niners up 13-7 on the Jets, 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. We're going to do a lot of college football the remainder of this week. We're going to kick it off tonight. Andrew Spivey down in Gainesville, one of my guys down there, GatorCountry.com, will stop by, as it will be Graham Mertz getting the start for Florida. DJ Lagway looked sensational against Samford. DJ Lagway will play, will have a role in the Gator offense, according to Billy Napier, this Saturday against Texas A&M. But it will ultimately be Graham Mertz who gets the starting job. I agree with Billy Napier. I said this last week on the Gator Bites podcast, that if you want the best chance to beat Texas A&M, and that's what Billy Napier's job is. His job is to not make the fan base happy or give the fan base hope for next year, for 2026. His job is to win a football game this Saturday against Texas A&M. And the best chance he has to do that, in my opinion, in 5 days, is for Graham Mertz to be the starting quarterback if he's healthy. DJ Lagway was phenomenal against Samford, right? Samford, a 1AA opponent who lost to West Georgia the week prior. Didn't have a lot of film on Lagway, only a quarter from the Miami game. Texas A&M will be able to watch that now, come up with a game plan to stop Lagway. Look, I like the element of surprise. I like the idea that Lagway will play some, but you got to have Graham Mertz out there. The Gators have not lost a lot of games in the last 2 years because of Graham Mertz. Now, is Graham Mertz the shiny new toy, the 5-star freshman that the fan base loves? No. He could be kind of boring, kind of pedestrian, but I think he's the best chance that Florida has. And make no mistake about it, it's a gigantic game. More into this with Andrew Spivey of GatorCountry.com. I said this even before Miami. Mike Elko is in Game 3 as the A&M coach. It'll be his first SEC game and his first road game as the A&M coach. Game 3. Billy Napier is in year 3. And if Mike Elko and A&M come into the swamp and beat Florida after what Miami did 2 weeks prior, that will not be good, man. That will not be good. Let's talk Florida. Let's talk Texas A&M. Let's talk Graham Mertz, DJ Lagway, and more with Andrew Spivey. GatorCountry.com. He comes up next on a Monday evening in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark rolls on right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Let's go. Game day gets here a little quicker with Pregame Friday.
Here we go.
Who's in, who's out, who's on upset watch.
Exactly.
We'll get you ready for the games. Brought to you by MyBookie and Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey everyone, it's football season and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our two blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market. Most passing yards, gives the most for your trade. Most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase. Super Bowl champion, wow customer service. This looks like a winning season for everyone. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville where you can score big all season long.
Bueller Air & Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson.
Welcome to the show, Steve. It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer it in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air & Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions. Repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity. Making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle, with APRs in the fives. You can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
He'll help you find the fish.
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon.
Captain Kevin and the Wing Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Veterans Wholesale Cabinets.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
The average cost associated with childhood cancer is a startling $833,000. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/September for more information.
Don't bring those old, beat-up cornhole boards to the party again. Mystic Cornhole can upgrade your tailgate experience with a customized set of professional quality boards built in Jacks. Visit their Instagram page or mysticcornholecompany.com.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to bring your friends out and enjoy our spectacular golf course, which is carved out of some of the highest elevations in North Florida. Hidden Hills Golf Club, unlike any other. Check us out, hiddenhillsgc.com.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford.
In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back.
It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or matt-jacksonville.com.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida and Texas A&M comes up this Saturday at 3:30. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Both teams lose in week 1. Both teams dominating performances over, well, let's be honest, some inferior competition in week 2. And we'll see about Florida and A&M coming up this Saturday. Let's go to Gainesville. Andrew Spivey is one of our guys down there, GatorCountry.com. Always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Andrew, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Andrew, thank you for the time, as always. All right, let's not bury the lead. Let's dive right in. You covered DJ Lagway all throughout his recruitment. You obviously watched him on Saturday night. Your thoughts on Lagway's performance?
Yeah, I mean, you had those moments in the game, just like you did in high school, where it was like, wow. The throw to Aiden Mizell, where he's basically on one foot, kind of hopping up, making the throw, is one of those wow throws. And then you had some head scratchers in the game. That's a little bit of what you're going to get from DJ. You're going to get a lot of really good, and you're going to get some head scratchers. But, the one thing I think you can say about DJ is he's a gamer. When the lights are on, he's a gamer, and you want the football in his hands, because 9 times out of 10 he's going to make something happen for this team. And I think the thing too was he really was leading that team, and he had that. And not that Graham Mertz doesn't. I think Graham Mertz does a great job. But for a freshman to really, have that authority figure about himself already just kind of speaks to what DJ Lagway is. And listen, I've said this. I think DJ has a lot of pressure on him because of all the accolades he got. But DJ is a guy that is going to play in the league for a long time. He has that phenomenal arm strength. He has that it factor about him, and he broke the record for most, passing yards in a game for a freshman quarterback. And, there's been some really good freshman quarterback play at the University of Florida.
All anybody wants to talk about, Andrew, is Lagway versus Mertz versus Lagway. So let's dive in. Billy Napier Saturday night in his press conference basically said they'll have a plan for DJ Lagway. I would expect to see both guys moving forward. I would expect Graham Mertz to start on Saturday against Texas A&M. Is that your expectation?
It is. And, I've been criticized a lot because I don't think Graham Mertz has been the reason this football team has not been good. I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it. Graham Mertz has been good enough to win football games for this team. He hasn't exactly went out and won them games, but he hasn't lost them games either. You look at the Miami game, he didn't lose them that football game. So I don't know that Graham has lost his job, and I don't know that he should lose his job, because of an injury. I do think DJ needs to play. And I do know that the noise in the system and the noise in the fan base is going to be loud. When DJ doesn't start on Saturday, it's going to be loud.
Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. So here's where I am with this. I mentioned this on the Gator Bites podcast that I do over here on 1010XL.com last week. I was asked who gives them a better chance to beat Texas A&M. Well, to me, Graham Mertz gives them a better chance to beat Texas A&M. Look, I love what DJ Lagway did on Saturday night. It was phenomenal. It was also Samford, right? And Lagway, you had, a quarter's worth of film on him from Miami that the Samford coaches, I'm sure, poured over, right? Well, now you have an entire game, and you have Texas A&M rolling in, a team that made Riley Leonard look pretty pedestrian even in that loss week 1 to Notre Dame. And I just don't know if putting an 18-year-old true freshman out there in a national televised game against a team like Texas A&M who's desperate for a win is the best course of action for a head coach that knows he needs to win. I get why the fan base wants DJ Lagway because they want hope. They want something to cling on to for the future. Billy Napier is trying to survive the next month, and beating A&M would go a long way into doing that. So I cannot find fault with him for ultimately going with Graham Mertz as the starting quarterback.
I agree with you in the fact that Graham probably gives you the best chance to win on Saturday. I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it. I don't think Graham Mertz is the reason this team's lost football games. I think a offensive line that is downright high school level is the reason. I've said that, and I believe that. I also kind of believe that, when you look at Graham Mertz, you're going to get a guy who's not going to turn the football over. And I say that knowing that in the Miami game, he did have a couple turnovers, but he's not going to turn the ball over a ton. I do think Lagway needs a role in this offense. And I do think that you have to, if the pressure gets too much up the middle against Graham Mertz, you do have to at least think about DJ from the fact that he can get outside the pocket and make things happen. I think that you have to have a healthy Graham Mertz in order to see a full DJ Lagway. I don't know that we've seen a full DJ Lagway on Saturday against Samford as far as him running the ball because of the fact that you have a walk-on as your third-string quarterback, and we get into that in a minute. But as long as Graham Mertz is healthy and is your second string quarterback, maybe you do put DJ in for some roles to run the ball, knowing that you have Graham as a backup and insurance policy for you.
You are one of the best, and I truly mean this. You are one of the best, not only when it comes to Florida, but I think of any guy covering a specific team in the SEC when it comes to recruiting. You've done it for years. I've personally seen your interaction with these guys on the recruiting trail. You know your stuff when it comes to recruiting. You mentioned the offensive line. Why has that been so bad for Florida? Because they've recruited guys with a lot of stars next to their name, yet it hasn't seemed to materialize. What's gone on there?
Point blank, offensive line coaches. It starts and stops there. You look at John Hevesy was not good. Not at all. He recruited a certain type of kids that he wanted, and those were guys that were not very hyped up because he didn't want to deal with the drama of them. Rob Seld doesn't really interact very well with recruits, and that's a problem. I've said this on our podcast several times, Ryan, and I'll say it again. You need to go find a couple offensive linemen, at least one every year, that you believe can play from day one. It's kind of like the NFL. You have to overpay for some of those guys because you know that they're a dime. They're not a dime a dozen. They're 1 out of 100 are actually going to be able to get in there and play. You've got to go out and find an offensive lineman that just wants to knock the crap out of the guy in front of him. You've got to go out and find an offensive lineman that has that mean streak about him. And, and this goes back to my coaching days. Offensive line's a mentality. It's a mentality of, I want to beat the man in front of me. I want to hurt the person in front of me. I know that the game relies on me. Florida doesn't have that right now. They don't have an offensive lineman on this team, maybe outside of Austin Barber, that just wants to throw a knockout punch consistently and wants to get dirty and nasty. They don't have that. It all starts with coaching. They've got to figure that out.
Couple more for Andrew Spivey of GatorCountry.com. Andrew, let's look at the future now, and that's Texas A&M on Saturday. I made this point in the offseason that as much as glamorous as the Miami game was and what that meant for recruiting in the state, to me, the perception of Florida might be told more by the A&M game because at least Cristobal was in year 3. They were on the same timeline, he and Billy Napier. Mike Elko is in game 3 as the head coach for Texas A&M. This will literally be his first game as the A&M coach on the road. It'll be his first game as the A&M coach inside the Southeastern Conference. Andrew, if Mike Elko in game 3 comes to Gainesville on Saturday and beats Billy Napier, who is in year 3, boy, that's damning. That is an indictment. You talk about the noise in the system. It'll be at an all-time high at that point. This game is just vital for the Gators and Billy Napier, is it not?
Absolutely. And, I'll take it a step further, and that is if you come in and A&M is more physical than you, it has more punch than you do, that's going to be a problem. And, if you watch that A&M Notre Dame game, and I say that now after watching Notre Dame lose, maybe it wasn't, but it definitely looked like A&M was going to be a physical football team up front, defensive line, offensive line. And if that's the case and they push Florida around, that's something that I don't know how you look at and say, okay, this program's going in the right direction. Florida has got to come in this game and be physical. They've got to show up, and they need to win. I mean, that just is what it is. This is an A&M team that is very beatable. This is an A&M team that's probably going to be middle to back of the pack in the SEC, and a team that, like you say, has a first-year coach. They've got some veterans on this team. They got a good quarterback in Connor Wigman. But this is a team that fired their head coach because he wasn't good. You've got to go into this game and really show that you're in the trajectory up. Billy Napier keeps talking about how the Miami game was an outlier and that he really believes this team's better. Here's your chance. You're not going to get to continue to say, I don't know why my team didn't improve or why my team didn't show up. This is the time now where it's either put up or shut up time for Billy Napier. It has to start being physical, too. This is a team that cannot get pushed around. This is a team that's got to score some points. And defensively, these communication problems that they continue to have has got to get fixed. And also the dumb penalties, the personal foul penalties. You can't have those penalties in games like this.
Miami was such a gut punch, just a shot below the belt to the fan base, to the program, to everybody. You get, I guess, a get-right game against equivalently a good high school team in Sanford. Nothing against them, but they lost to West Georgia, for crying out loud, in week 1. I mean, it is what it is. It was a paycheck game. So now here we go into A&M. Where do you think the fan base, the program, where do you think their level of confidence is going into Saturday at the Swamp?
Ooh, I would say not very good. Listen, the Sanford game wasn't exactly a blowout. I mean, they ended up winning the game handily, 45-7. But if you watch that first half when Florida was up 14-0, Sanford had chances to punch it in. I think that the fan base in general and myself in general, I'm in a show me state of you've got to show me that this team is better. You've got to show me that this team can compete before I'm going to believe that this team is ready to compete in these games, that this team has gotten better. You've got to show me. You've got to show the fan base. I think you need to show yourself that this is a team that's better than the Miami game. And, the part that gets me and the part that makes me not believe that the team has truly gotten better is you had 6 months to prepare for Miami. 6 months, and that's the performance you put out there. What makes me believe that in a week from Sanford to A&M, you're going to be able to get ready for that? That just to me is there. And also, you can't get physical overnight. They weren't physical in the Sanford game. They were getting pushed around some in the Sanford game. What's going to change overnight? Or did you just, go out and lay an egg and, say, hey, I'm not going to be physical in the first 2 games and I'm going to go out and prove it in the A&M game? And maybe that's true. Maybe they were trying to hide it a little bit, but I don't see it.
Andrew, final question. Billy Napier, look, we know the criticism. We know the hot seat. We know the noise in the system within reason. I mean, obviously, if they lose, 5 in a row, then that's, to me, that's hopefully not within reason. But within reason, do you see a scenario where he wouldn't make it to Georgia?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, another blowout, and I think that we're talking about that Sunday press conference that nobody wants to talk about. Obviously, if you lay an egg here in A&M and then or lose a game here to A&M and then you lose a couple more before Georgia, yeah. And the reason I say that is Georgia starts November. That's when you need to start planning for next year if this isn't going to go right. If this isn't going to be what, is the future for this program for next year and going forward, then by that time you need to cut bait, be starting to do those back channels without a head coach. And not that back channels don't go on even with the head coach, but have a head coach vacancy to where you can go out and start talking to agents, start trying to put things in place, hire your team that's going to start doing background checks on everything and your search firms and that kind of stuff. So, if things are going to change, I think that Georgia week or maybe right after Georgia is probably when you have that happen.
I certainly hope it doesn't get to that. I like Billy Napier. Hopefully Florida can turn it around, but they have a real good opportunity in the next 2 games. A&M and Mississippi State are not world beaters. Florida needs to take care of business, particularly at home on Saturday against Texas A&M. Andrew Spivey of Gator Country. Andrew, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville the coverage you guys have leading up to kickoff on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have plenty of coverage on the game and recruiting as well. As there's expected to be some big visitors on campus this weekend with A&M coming to town. So follow us on Gator Country on the web, on X, and at Andrew Spivey GC on X as well. And have a lot of coverage for the basketball team as well as they're doing some open practices.
He's one of our guys in Gainesville, my buddy Andrew Spivey of GatorCountry.com. Andrew, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Hopefully our Jags and Falcons get going.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
And thank you to Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark as the Gators and Billy Napier announce Graham Mertz will start on Saturday against Texas A&M. DJ Lagway will play. I don't know how often he's going to play, but he said we're going to see both guys. It's an interesting dynamic for A&M to have to prepare for in what is just an absolutely gigantic game for Billy Napier and the Florida football program. We talked about that a lot today, but certainly spent a majority of our time on the Jacksonville Jaguars, losing the opener to Miami 20-17. I have a lot more clarity today than I probably did last night. Last night was fresh, was genuine. I said this, though, last night, for 24 hours, that loss was going to suck. And it has, and it did. But now we're past the 24-hour mark. Now you kind of do one of these. You take a deep breath and you think, all right, Jaguars have something in Brian Thomas Jr. Gabe Davis looked very good. Tank Bigsby was ridiculously good. Trayvon Walker looked the part. All the veteran free agents from Armstead to Savage to Darby to Morse all looked good. There were a ton of positives. The negative, of course, was the ETN fumble, the 80-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill, the lack of anything offensively in the last 18 minutes of that game. So it's a marathon, man. It's not a sprint. The Jaguars were never going to go 17-0, and I got news for you. They're not going to go 16-1 either. But they need to win Sunday against Cleveland. With road trips to Buffalo and to Houston right around the corner, your only home game in September, the Jaguars need to win on Sunday at Everbank Stadium against a Cleveland Browns team that was absolutely throttled by Dallas yesterday and a Cleveland Brown team that's going to have some injury issues coming in here on Sunday. It looks like David Njoku won't play with an ankle. We'll see about some of their other guys, but I don't know if there's a September must-win in the NFL, but with a loss yesterday, road trips to Buffalo and Houston on the horizon, and again, your only home game in September, I think this Cleveland game on Sunday might be about as close to a must-win September game as the Jaguars have had in a long, long time. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very, very busy Monday night here on Hacker After Dark, as they all will be this time of year. We certainly thank you guys for hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Andrew Spivey, one of our guys over in Gainesville, GatorCountry.com. Always appreciate Andrew's perspective on the Florida football program. Thank you to the head coach, Dave Campo. It's always Monday night coaching with Campo here on Hacker After Dark, as we always break down the tape with the head coach, and we look ahead to Cleveland as well. And we did that with Dave Campo tonight. And my buddy Brian Sexton of Jaguars.com stopped by to, again, recap yesterday, but more importantly, look ahead to the Cleveland Browns coming in here on Sunday at 1 o'clock, a game you'll hear right here on your home of the Jaguars, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Well, that'll just about do it. Again, Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Monday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. And as we always tell you, and cannot possibly tell you enough how much we absolutely appreciate it. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder of your Monday evening, and we will do it all over again tomorrow night on a Tuesday, beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.